Canadiens Kovacevic, the forgotten man on defense. You'd be hard-pressed to find an analyst arguing against Jonathan Kovacevic making the Montreal Canadiens in 2023-24. It's past that point the doubt starts to set in, but unjustifiably so. To be fair, there are a lot of young defensemen in the mix, including on Kovacevic's right side on defense. David Reinbacher, the team's 5th overall draft pick from this past summer, stands out the most. However, you've also got Logan Mailloux, who, like Reinbacher, had a relatively impressive training camp too. Keep in mind though, Kovacevic is just 26 himself, maybe not an up-and-coming player by definition, but a quasi-established one in practice. Don't forget that. Then there's Justin Barron and Gustav Lindstrom. Each has underwhelmed so far. However, it's hard to imagine either falling completely out of favor with the Canadiens to the point the team would actively try to lose them. For example, a former first-round pick, Barron is still just going on 22 with plenty of upside. Plus, he was the centerpiece of the Artturi Lehkonen trade from a few seasons ago. Lindstrom was meanwhile the roster player the Habs acquired for Jeff Petry a few months ago. At the time, general manager Kent Hughes said the scouting staff sees Lindstrom as having reached just 70% of his potential. So they're unlikely to so much as expose him to waivers without giving him a fair shot to attain it completely. That's just logical. Meanwhile, Mattias Norlinder has re-established himself as a viable prospect, lasting as long as he has in training camp. Despite being a left-handed defenseman, Norlinder can play both sides, which only serves to further clog up the right currently. Before continuing with the information, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help me grow my project and like the video so that YouTube suggests it to more fans. Norlinder is a curious case, similar to Kovacevic. Even though both are legit options, they're seen somewhat as afterthoughts. In Norlinder's case, it's maybe due to how he fell down the depth chart after having seen his development stagnate for a few seasons. So it may be unrealistic in the minds of many that the impressive camp he's had is anything other than a flash in the pan. In Kovacevic's case, he has the gall to have once been claimed off waivers. That might not make Kovacevic the blue-chip prospect Reinbacher is, but the Canadiens do have a recent history of waiver wire pickups having worked out. The since-traded Rem Pitlick proved to be a good fit, albeit over just a few seasons. However, Paul Byron, who just retired, ended up playing 383 of his 521 career games with the Habs, at times as a key member of the offense, with 2 straight 20-goal seasons from 2016 to 2018. There's no reason Kovacevic can't develop into something of a similar mainstay in the lineup. Even with the organizational depth the Canadiens have on defense, Kovacevic can carve out a core role, including from an offensive perspective. Sure, he hasn't put up big numbers yet, but there is untapped puck-moving potential there, even if only based on his camp to date, which, remember, has been the basis for why so many are suggesting some of the other names in this piece have significant futures in the organization. In 3 preseason games, Kovacevic has scored 3 points, all the while having served as a stabilizing presence on defense, just like he did last season. That's perhaps the biggest difference between Kovacevic and Norlinder, or many of the other names mentioned above. Kovacevic has proven himself in the NHL already. The team's other young defensemen because, again, Kovacevic qualifies as one as well. They still have a way to go. In effect, Kovacevic is a certainty, which is incredibly valuable in a world where draft picks, even highly regarded ones at times, fail to develop. While the Canadiens do have a lot of high-end talent conceivably coming up soon, that was also the case less than a decade ago. And now, Montreal Canadiens supporter, I want to hear from you. Do you trust Kovacevic's potential and ability? Put your opinion in the comments. I don't know if you're aware, but your opinion is very important to us. I'll be back with more urgent news at any moment.